here today for our first ever Pulsar Summit. So quick round of applause for everyone. Everyone, you guys, everyone worked really hard going into the last few weeks. When Carol shared her vision a few months ago and said, we're putting on the calendar for the summit, we were like, we've never had a summit. What's the summit about? And we all started working and oaring together. It kind of reminded me of our rowing experience last year. But here we are. And I thought rather than finishing our great next few days with the end party, let's start off this summit with a party this morning. So we're gonna have a great fun few days, and I'm excited to learn from each of you and have a chance to kind of be together again. It's been a while since we've been able to do just this. So when I think about our company and what we want to be, and we talk about being world-class, I think that was thrown around, and then at one point I said, world-class summit, that's a world-class thing. Let's make it a world-class event, because that's what we want to be. So today I'm really excited to introduce a longtime friend of mine and someone I admire in many ways. John, for those of you that don't know, John actually started not too far back, many years ago at CSU. John was a student at CSU. He was playing on the baseball team and trying to figure out what he wants to do in life. And he was driving around UPS, and all of a sudden he met a girl, Mayfield Heights. She was cutting hair. They developed a relationship. They fell in love, and he said, let's open up our own chain of salons. What are you doing working for someone else? And they then built, if any, show of hands, who's heard of John Roberts Salon in Cleveland? So John Roberts has, what, 7 locations. They started building it up, but this is where his life really changed and where I said, wow. John realized he had a little knack for secret service. And his thing was, the first time people came to John Roberts, they'd wear a white cape. And that white cape identified this is a new customer. Let's maybe wash her rings, give her a little massage, treat her special. And all of a sudden, he started realizing a knack and one of his passions was for how to make things special and different and give great customer service. So then John started writing books. And I mean writing books, like book after book after book. And I would read these on the airplane. You know, this was like my thing. I'd pick up this one and I could fly to LA and it would be like done with the book. And so he's written all these books. He travels around the world, and these are some of his clients. Over the last 15, 20 years, these are the people that hire him to come in and give training to 500 people, whatever. Later this week, John hosts an event, 500, 700 people, John? Yeah. They come to Cleveland for a few days summit. And so to have the honor of how do we make this world class, and I reached out to John and I reached out to my friend Adam and said, I need some tips on how do we make this world class? And John kind of volunteered to say, Eric, I'm gonna help you do that. We've been longtime friends. So some notes on John is, talks about how some companies, brands, customers can't live without. Do you think it's possible to make price irrelevant? And he's servicing these great companies that are known for so much in the world for their level of customer service. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the Pulsar stage for the first annual Pulsar Summit, Mr. John DiJulius. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing?
Good. Great.
So I'm excited to be here. The number one question everyone has these days is, are we in a recession? Is a recession coming? Is it inevitable? Did it already start? And I'm here to tell you that we've been in a customer service recession for over 2 years. And everyone in here is a customer service expert. Besides that you're in business, you are customers yourself. So you've been on that end of the spear where you've seen such a disappointment, especially since the pandemic. According to the American Customer Satisfaction Index, which measures all industries, we have plummeted to a 2-year low. 2-decade low of customer satisfaction. Why? Because of you know, the quiet quitting, the great resignation, the supply chain challenges, the staff shortages, all the things that we've all been experiencing. But there's good news to that. The top 10% of these customer satisfaction companies in all industries outperform their competition by nearly 4 times. So that's really we want to focus. I don't know if anybody saw this about 2.5, 3 months ago. The U.S. Surgeon General came out and said loneliness and isolation is an epidemic. And that's really scary. And it started long before the pandemic, but obviously only the pandemic has heightened that. And you know, they say it's, you know, as serious as, you know, all the other mental illness and all these things. So why do we need to know that? Well, we're human beings, right? We need to create experiences for our customers, for each other, but also as just human beings with, you know, parents. How many people have kids here? All right, I mean, that's really scary. Something that's really startling, it's maybe to me, maybe not to all you, but like churches, worshiping is down, attendance, activities for kids, sports, all those things are down. The other, you know, startling thing that I've really come in to realize is, you know, I don't know if anybody has any kids that went through college during the pandemic, right? I mean, they totally got screwed, right? I mean, that sucks. Well, but the afterlag of that is that these kids don't want to work in offices. And listen, you know, I love work from home, you know, the advantages. As an employer, I realize there's a lot of disadvantages. I will tell you, pre-pandemic, I own 3 companies. If you were coming after one of my employees, I would have been like, man, I hope you got an amazing offer, right? Because we have such a strong culture that just money probably wouldn't get someone to leave. Today, I don't feel like that. I feel a lot more vulnerable. We don't have the relationships we once did. I call them curate conversations, right? Where, you know, I'm waiting for you to get your curate, and we start talking about what you have going on, what happened this weekend, or what's going on with a project with a customer of yours. And, you know, relationships are built in the rabbit holes. But back to this, you know, 20-something dilemma. If for those of us that are old enough, think about when you went to college, when you went to school, right? The people you met, the relationships you built, probably still have those relationships in your life. You know, all my groomsmen were from college, right? And we're still close. But then think about in your 20s, when you had your first jobs, and you meet people at work, and going to happy hour after work, and going out socially, and you know, and hitting on someone, maybe it's just guys, but we're hitting on someone at a bar and striking out and having to go fix that, right? And say, all right, that approach didn't work, right? I mean, all those things these kids are getting ripped off on, right? And I feel horrible. Now they just swipe right, right? And that's their approach at a bar instead of going to a bar. So, you know, for every age group, it's not just young, but for every age group, this is a serious thing that we all have to work at for ourselves, for our customers. Our customers are just, you know, in the digital age. That's what we're going to talk about a lot today. So one of the themes that I like is BX Strong, and that stands for Brand Experience Strong. And the companies that will dominate in the next decade will be the ones obsessed with evolving the experience they provide to both their employees and customers. And I'll also take it to the vendors, right? Anyone you have a relationship with, we want to have an ecosystem, an experience ecosystem that just, you know, separates us from anyone else. So, by a show of hands here, how many people feel that Pulsar, provides an excellent experience? Raise your hand and keep them up for a while just so I can get okay, the majority of you. All right, good. So Bain & Company asked that same question to 300 different leaders, 300 different organizations, 300 different industries. Anybody want to take a guess at what the percentage these leaders felt they provided superior, excellent customer service? 90, yeah, just about 80. Pretty good group. So they thought, what they didn't realize at the same time, they were surveying 3,000 of their customers. Anybody want to take a guess at the percentage of their customers that agreed with them?
25%. 30.
Lower.
15.
Lower.
10.
Lower.
5.
8. 80% of them were convinced, yet 8% of their customers agreed with. 90% of us raised our hand in this room, right? So in this, who's right? And I don't believe or subscribe to the customer's always right. But in this case, we all have to realize that we work in the customer perception business, right? And you can tell me how great your experience is, but your repeat business, your referrals, your primary KPIs, if you track Net Promoter Score, customer satisfaction, ease of doing business. Well, that jumped to one too many. Sorry.